Yeah, I mean, you got to give your hats off to Maryland. I mean, they were super efficient tonight, shot the ball well, and they got some great goalie play from their goaltender. And hats off to them, though. I mean, Dome's not an easy place to play. They came in, locked in. We got lots of opportunities, and we didn't finish. And, we talk about being efficient offensively, and we certainly weren't that tonight from the 8-meter to our shots. But I thought we battled. We gave ourselves a chance, and we couldn't get within that 3 or 4. We were on the doorstep a couple times. Goalie shut us down, and going forward, we certainly got to clean up that side of the ball. But the positives are we got to the cage, we got some shots, and we got to bury the ball. It's simple as that. I thought the D played very good. You play a lot of defense like that, and it wears out through the game. But hats off to their coaching staff and for Maryland. They're a heck of a team. They're a good team this year. They're going to have a lot of wins, and we're certainly not happy with the way we performed, but the great thing is we got a great opportunity against doesn't get any easier, number 1 Carolina next week. So I'll open up for questions.
Sorry, yeah, Coach. Just going back to that, I guess early dry spell. What was it from your perspective? Was it more what you guys were doing, or what Maryland was doing?
We did a lot of scout film this week on the goalie, right? And we didn't execute. We had some good looks, and just we weren't in the slide. We weren't dodging hard. We were kind of getting to the net, and they were solid shots. But at the same time, Maryland did a good job getting on our hands and forcing some pressured shots. But at the end of the day, we got to bury some of those shots. I mean, you look at the stats, and you hang 38 shots and get 8 or 9 8-meter opportunities. Usually you're on the positive side of the ball. So it's an area we got to clean up. Or it's an area of focus we focused on. We didn't execute tonight, but like I said, we'll have another opportunity against a heck of a team, UNC next week.
Yeah, for Carolina, Coach mentions 38 shots today, 21 of which are on goal. What do you think your attack will do just going forward to capitalize on those shot attempts?
Yeah, we grow from this game. We've got to see the back of the net. We're for sure going to do that this week. Some games go like that, but we need to clean it up for sure.
Regy, wins or losses aside, just how did it feel to be out there?
It was great. The kids never quit. There's a lot of positives. You can't. It's still a loss at the end of the day. We're still 0-1, right? So at the end of the day, it's a loss. But I think our kids don't quit, right? And positives, we generated some shots and got some looks, but we got to clean that up. But it was great to be back. Crowd was great, but our job as players and coaches is we got to give the fans. We need that energy in the dome, and when we were trying to make a run and trying to get within 3, within 2, it's just we couldn't bury the ball, and that's it's all about momentum in lacrosse. I think if we could have hit a couple of those, got the crowd going a little bit, it could have been a different story. But again, a lot of credit to Maryland and their players and the coaching staff.
Was there anybody that was here today, family, friends, former teammates that meant a lot to you?
Yeah, we had a lot of alumni here. Family was here. The Jordan Albridge crew always shows up big in the dome where I'm from. But they watched a lot of lacrosse games. So it was good to have them there. And like I said, we got to do a better job. Top to bottom. The coach starts with the coaching staff and preparing our team.
For Molly, you had a ton of success on the draw today. How did it feel to take your first game as a draw specialist?
It felt great. We did a lot of preparation coming into this game all throughout the fall and the off season to be good on the draw, at least 50%, and I think we executed really well today on that part of the field. It's just we got to clean it up everywhere else too.
Coach, you put a lot of emphasis this week on the first 5 minutes of the game. How do you think those went before that first minute goal?
Well, we had a couple good opportunities early. We could have been up 3-1, 3-0, and we didn't cash in. So the kids came out, fired up, and again, we just got to do a better job. Coach DeFelice and Coach Maggie did a great job with the defense and kind of kept us hanging around there. But they didn't go on that that traditional 4, 5, 6 goal run. So we kept within striking distance. And again, we just couldn't capitalize. But I give our D a lot of credit, Dan a lot of credit. We hung in there and held the fort down. It led us to some opportunities, and again, unfortunately, we couldn't cash in.
Caroline, obviously Emma Ward's down there on the sidelines. How can you guys kind of utilize her, in game when you guys are struggling?
Yeah, I mean, she has so much knowledge. We're thankful to have her, and was here with us last year, so just the little things. She's picky about the details, so having her with Nicole has been great. I'm sure she'll continue to help us.
And Coach Thorpe, just how would you describe what kind of Emma's role she had behind the net, she had the clipboard down there, just what's her role?
Yeah, she's manager for us. She's finishing up her master's, so she's just a great person to assist with drills and be an extra eyes with scout team and give us a hand.
Danny, when you guys were doing your scouting this week, I'm sure that was a focus. How much did Lauren McCoy kind of show up on film, and how much was it a challenge for her to defend different angles of shot she's taking?
Yeah, Edmonton was definitely a big hitter for us to really cover. Lauren as well. She definitely caught me by surprise on a couple of those, and I didn't make as many of the adjustments that I would have liked to. Really taking an extra step out, try and cut off as much as the angle as I can, especially since she's shooting from such a low angle. Those are just personal adjustments I need to be able to make in the game. But I know moving forward, we'll try and go for a more well-rounded scout.
Coach, you had a big decision to make this offseason with the draw specialist, and you got the from Molly, and she had an awesome performance today. What can you really say about her and what went into that decision?
I just think the draw unit, is doing a good job. We have Molly and Joe and Courtney and Ireland. We didn't have to go that deep tonight. Molly did a good job. We were hitting our marks on the circle. We got a little away from it in the middle of the second, but we made the adjustment at halftime to go back what we wanted to do. So, Molly's just stepped up, but it's a lot of work on her part. She generated 10, 11 shots tonight. We need to be better there for her. We need to go to our 2-3 to give Molly a little bit of rest, because exerts a lot of energy, and we need Molly scoring goals, and she sprayed the ball a little bit tonight. She's a heck of a player. She's a warrior. She's been one of our top kids all preseason and throughout the fall. So we got to do a better job, giving her a little bit of rest, from the coaches. The coaches talk about that after the game, so she's a little more fresher offensively. When the new role, coming off the field to exchange the stick, it's a lot of extra running for her. But with that being said, she's a converted midfielder to attack. She's got the legs and the stamina.
Maryland really clamped down on him much today, but what kind of leadership qualities does she bring to this team?
She's great. She's very fortunate to make the Team USA and play with those elite players and gain experience and knowledge. So, she's invaluable as a leader. We also need to generate more shots for her. I don't know if she ended up with 1 or 2 shots there, but we need her generating some more shots there, and that's something we gotta work on as a coaching staff.
Okay, a couple more, we'll start. And Coach, just trailing 6-1 at halftime, what was the message to the team?
Just got to hang in there. It's a game of runs. With the shot clock, you're really never out of a game. With the shot clock. So we needed a couple to fall, and again, we just couldn't get that multiple goal run going. And that's what Maryland did really well. We get one, and then they would answer back. We get one, they answer back. We get 2, they answer back, and it's just like an uphill battle, all day. But I do feel if we could have got a couple more there and make it a 2-goal game in the dome and get the energy up, I think we could have, maybe come out of the other end. But again, you got to give Maryland a lot of credit for limiting those runs.
Coach, you mentioned North Carolina a little bit earlier. With them and 2 other ranked teams coming up after them, just what are your expectations going forward after today?
Well, it doesn't get easier, right? So we can sit around and feel sorry for ourselves, or but we're gonna take tomorrow off. Coaches will clip up the film. We'll have a good film day on learning clips from Maryland on Sunday, get some recovery, and then roll out the scout for UNC on Monday and prepare for a team that is very, very good. But I think at this point, it's just focusing on us and what we can do better, and then flipping the page to the Tar Heels.
3 more hands, also official Brian and Brent.
Caroline, Molly, tough night for the attack. Suriano through the punch from Maryland was just a lot to handle. What did you see from her there? How was it find that?
Yeah, I mean, JJ's a great goalie, and we knew that going into the game. I think Coach talks about it all the time. We get a lot of opportunities, but we need to be more efficient, and tonight we didn't do that. So that's just something to work on, and in the future we'll be way better at.
Yeah, being more efficient. So seeing the back of the net, and I think we like we've said all night, we've gotten the opportunities. It's just really capitalizing. And I think the flow of the offense was good. We just got to make adjustments from here on out. And she is a great goalie, like Molly said, but we just got to learn from it.
Coach, I know you guys talked a lot about fixing that shooting accuracy and kind of executing better. What does that look like this week? Is it as simple as just getting as many reps, or like a mental part to it? What does that look like this week?
Yeah, I just think when I first came in the fall, first day of practice. I mean, you can they generate a lot of shots. I think you got to be efficient though, and I think that's the key. And we talk about a lot. We just got to keep working on it. But again, Maryland got all over our hands, and we took some low angle shots, and we kind of took the fool's gold and took the bait a little bit and settled for those not so great angle shots, but you want to score, against good teams. You got to get to the dirty area. The dirty area is the middle of the 8, right? You got to get in there, and you got to be able to shoot right, left, not low angle shots there. So we got to do a better job putting these guys in position to succeed. But we got to be a little grittier on offense and get to the middle of the floor.
Last question, Brent.
Just for any of the players, I know we sit right here, you guys say those things about it, but just what was that adjustment playing for Regy and the staff in this new game as opposed to maybe what we were used to, a lot more across the country? What was that first game like?
I think just from the one play late in the fourth, we had an adjustment, Melina, on a breakaway. Just that goes right there. Our coaches are ready. They know what they need to do when we're in these situations, and it's trust. We trust them, they trust us, and it's a two-way street.
Yeah, I think another thing that really stuck out to me today was, we were down by a few goals. Our coaches brought us into the huddle, and I know everyone's got a little emotional, a little frantic, but Coach Nicole comes up to us and she's like, you're just out there having a game with your friends, having fun. And I think that just calmed everyone down a little bit, and that let us put a little more spark into us going into the second half.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.